All right, welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us for our Freedom Revolution call this evening. And so excited just to get to share a little bit with you about what we're all about, what it is that we do to help others, and also how people can and sometimes choose to be a part of our personal community and be a part of making a difference alongside us. So thank you guys for joining us. My name is Leah Sheeter, and I am a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company. And we are all a part, those of us that are sharing tonight are all a part of something called the Healthy Living Revolution. And that's a little bit about what you're going to hear tonight, are different components that have blessed the lives and in many cases completely changed the trajectory of different people's lives, their families, their health. And I know that all of us are coming into this conversation in a different place, maybe looking for a different thing in our lives. And so what I always share with people as we get started is, this is truly an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to hear some other people's stories. We're not really going to dig into the nitty gritty of, the what and the education of all of it. And so my encouragement is to just kind of be open, hear the stories, hear other people's experiences, and then connect with the person that invited you to listen in on this call, and they can help you take steps that are relevant to you to learn more about the areas that you most resonate with. So once again, thanks for joining us. I'm going to kick us off by sharing a little bit about my story so you can understand why I'm on here sharing a little bit tonight. And my story actually started over 10 years ago. I was right out of college. My husband and I were engaged to be married, and I found myself in a health crisis. So that was completely unexpected at the age of 24, especially coming from a very athletic background, and honestly would have always, if I had been asked, I would have always considered myself healthy, but I had never learned how to fuel my body with nutrition or learned about the importance of that. And it really caught up to me, and it was something that spun me into a place of desperation and confusion for about 2 years as I was seeking for answers of what was going on with my health. And during that time, I began to learn about ways that I could become my own health advocate. And one of the number one things that is just so basic that I completely had overlooked is the importance of fruits and vegetables. It had never been something that had been on my radar in terms of, an actual solution for changing my health picture. And as I began to learn, that seemed to just continue to be the common denominator of everything that I was, reading about that would be beneficial for my health. So I was totally on board with making this lifestyle and nutritional change for my husband and I, but we found out really quickly that it's very challenging to get the recommended 7 to 13 servings every day. And I began to then look for what are some simple solutions to help us get this nutrition in every day. And that's when I was actually introduced at a fitness center to this amazing plant powder in a capsule, and was just really drawn to it for a couple of main reasons. One was that it was food and not a vitamin. So that was a huge, it was something that was critical because of the fact that I had a whole history of tons of supplements and vitamins, a cabinet full of them at home that had really done nothing for me. I knew that I really needed nutrition from whole foods. And because of the fact that this was basically a salad bar in a capsule, it just really clicked in my mind that this is, kind of that piece that I've been looking for to fill in the gaps that I have in my nutrition, in addition to the measures we were taking to change our diet. The second reason, which I'm sure will be spoken of a little bit more, was the research. That was the other reason, because it gave me assurance that what I was going to be consuming was actually going to make a difference in my body. And within 3 or 4 months of my husband and I getting started, we began to notice some really neat things happening in our health. Some of the first things we noticed were craving more fruits and vegetables, especially raw vegetables, even ones that we had never eaten before, which for my husband were all of them because he had never eaten a raw vegetable in his life. He was 24. So for him, let alone both of us, to start craving and eating vegetables we'd never eaten before was, in my opinion, a small miracle. And now we are pretty much a completely plant-based family simply because over the years, our cravings have just drawn us more and more to plant foods, and we feel better with what we're putting in our body. Some of the other things we began to notice were allergies and asthma subsiding. So we've been an asthma and allergy-free home for 9 years. I was dealing previously with severe chronic fatigue, and really, really severe. And that was also connected to some of my diagnoses. And it's been so cool to watch how my energy through the years, especially the first year on Juice Plus, I began to notice an increase, but then year after year, it's gotten better and better till I'm at the point now where I have 3 kids and I have more energy today than I did with no kids 10 years ago. And not to mention that, but infertility was a huge side effect of all of my health issues, and the fact that we've been able to have 3 healthy pregnancies and babies, and we've only had 1 antibiotic in our home for sickness in the 8 years we've had kids. I mean, that to me is just unheard of. Like, I grew up taking at least 1 or 2 antibiotics per year, and even in my adult life was used to having, a few severe colds, maybe strep throat every year, and it just seemed normal. This is just completely redefined to us what normal looks like in our health. And I'm so, so grateful for that, because the way in which we can live our life now is much more others focused, because when we're, in that space of really having to deal with our own health issues or our lack of energy, it really forces us to have to focus on ourselves. And so I think that, that in and of itself was a huge blessing, but we actually, probably the biggest blessing in disguise for us has been what this opportunity and this business has done in our lives, because we weren't looking for that part of it. The only reason we got started was purely to cover our cost. And that happened. I just fell in love with this community. I fell in love with the way in which the company emphasizes education and relationships with people first, that's of utmost importance. And those things align with the type of person that I am. And I loved that they really were about just making a difference in people's lives, regardless of whether they ended up purchasing the product or not. That spoke volumes to me. And I just really enjoyed sharing the opportunity with people to take a step either in their health or their financial journey, and just continue doing this on the side here and there in the midst of my full-time job. And eventually it enabled me to leave corporate America and be a full-time stay-at-home mom, which is what I always wanted to do. But it's given me a sense of purpose outside our home. And that to me has been really an important part of just my overall journey as a person. I love being a mom, but it's given us as a family a mission that's bigger than us, and a benefits package that is now covering health insurance and providing so many benefits to our family that we never would have imagined being able to have with a business like this. And the last thing I'll say about that is the fact that never would I have imagined being able to earn a full-time income working part-time hours as a homeschooling mom, owning my own business, taking care of a toddler, and supporting my husband who's in ministry, and being able to do all of those things at the same time. I mean, we all know life is full. And one of the things that I love so much about this business is the fact that it's simple, and it's simple enough to fit into a really full, busy, whatever you want to call it, lifestyle, and still be able to make a difference in the ways that matter to you and to your family. And so that's a little bit about my story. I'm going to transition it over to Dana Moody. And Dana is a good friend of mine I've met through this journey. She's going to share a little bit about her story with you.
Hey guys, so I am Dana and I'm from Denver, Colorado. I am a mom of two. So I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and then we also have a surprise one coming on the way this August. So that's pretty exciting. My health journey, that was my last snack call for the kids. My alarm's going off. Where was I? Oh, yes. So my health journey and my journey as an entrepreneur actually started at the same time about 4 years ago. I was just a tired mom, and I was looking for something to reset my body. After 2 kids, I was depleted, and that's how I felt. And at the same time, I was still nursing, so I needed something that was gentle enough and safe to do while I was still nursing my youngest at the time. And that's when I became open to this. I became open to Juice Plus, and I became open to trying it and implementing it in our whole family. And so that's how our health journey started here 4 years ago. And it's amazing to see the differences. And at the same time, that's when I started my journey as a mompreneur. And mainly to start, just cover our cost. And that was a big deal because we wanted it all for our family. And then after my first conference, I really got a taste of this community, which has become instrumental in my life and has become family, especially because we moved from a couple states over. We moved from Missouri to Colorado. And so just having those relationships and community already in place virtually was huge for me during that transition. And honestly, after that, I knew I'd be a lifer with this community. So just like most moms of young kids too, I was hungry for community and also for something that I could call my own, like Leah mentioned, something that gave me passion, which health was always something that I was passionate about, more on the fitness side. And so this is a great complement, adding the nutrition and then something that I could call my own. That wasn't just me, mom. Had my own friends things. And I remember at the time, being a little bit concerned about coming off as a salesperson. And then I realized I'm a walking marketing person for anything that I love, like movies, books, Costco, a recipe, what you name it. If I love it, I'm going to share it with my friends. And I was like, why not share Juice Plus? So I'm already sharing it anyways. I'll just share it a little bit more intentionally. And so that impact has made a huge impact, not only on our family and friends, but also on our finances as well. And health-wise, I love sharing the impact that it's had on our health. So it simply made my energy, which is what I was looking for when I'm feeling depleted. A lot of it came out as energy, just really low energy, has increased. I don't even think about it anymore. I don't even need naps anymore. And then my son hasn't needed his annual winter nebulizer since then, which is a huge mom win, because he wants their kids on steroids. And so that hasn't been existent in our house now for the last 4 years. And then about a year ago, my hubby mentioned that if I were to go back to work when our youngest started kindergarten, or started going to school full day, that it would help us get to our dream Colorado home that much faster. And I was like, okay, I was excited about the dream home the Colorado dream home coming faster. But at the same time, I was like, I want to be home when the kids get home from school. I don't want to work a 9-to-5. I don't want to have to ask off for vacations or when the kids have 3-day weekends, which is almost every single month. They have at least one of those. And it's awesome because of this business and the flexibility that it provides. We can just take off. We just take off to our family cabin in the mountains and go and hang out there and almost every single month. And I love that we can do that and I don't have to ask off for work. And so that has provided a lot of freedom for us, not to mention financially. We are less than a year away now from paying off the last $20K, which it was like $55K a year ago, but now it's $20K left in our student loans, which is huge for us. And with this new surprise baby on the way, I'm also excited that we still get to work towards our dream home in Colorado, and I have the flexibility to be a stay-at-home mom still for this one, and to work when he or she naps, and then be done and have, be home when the kids come home, and still have the community and all the awesome stuff that comes with this amazing business model that is out there. And I just love that I can design this around my life and what we need for our seasons of life. So it's awesome.
Gosh, I love that, girl. And it's been cool getting to watch that journey, have a front row seat to that too. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And we have one more story for tonight. My awesome friend, Natalie Sadek, who's from Indianapolis, she's going to share a little bit about her journey.
Hey guys, I'm excited to share with you all. So yes, my name's Natalie. I live in Indianapolis, and I'm a mom to 4 kiddos and a physician assistant by training. So I've spent most of my 12 years as a PA working in emergency medicine. And when Juice Plus found me via Leah, I was looking for something extra to nourish my body during pregnancy. So I've had an interest in nutrition and how food played a role in the body as far as healing and prevention, which has led me to one of the reasons why I wanted to go into healthcare. And so I was always, not always, but we tried to be really intentional with our diet, eating healthy, exercise, all of that. But I knew that during pregnancy, like my body just needed something extra. And so when I learned about Juice Plus and some of the things that Leah mentioned in her story, the fact that it was food and not a multivitamin, not isolated vitamins and minerals put into a tablet, that there was research behind it, and not just, 1 or 2 articles or something. There was, at the time, now there's almost 40 research studies on Juice Plus. At the time, there's like over 25, and that was amazing to me. And I could pull it up on this thing called PubMed, which is, when I was in school, something that you look up research articles on, and that like blew my mind. And the fact that, so that was another thing that I was like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of anything like this. And then when I learned that there was actually this third party that's certified to make sure the product is, simply pure, that what's in the product is free of pesticides, herbicides, contaminants, heavy metals, you name it. That was, another like amazing thing that really assured me like, hey, this is something that I know is going to be good for my body during pregnancy, and not just my body, the baby's body. So yeah, started taking it. I had 0 expectations it would do anything for my health. I really was just looking at it as something, to fill in those gaps. Because, and one other thing I do want to mention is that, when I mentioned filling in the gaps, I knew that, especially being pregnant, we're exposed now to more toxins environmentally, and honestly, just like my job, I was exposed to all sorts of things, and just knew that the food I was getting, doesn't have the same nutritional quality that it did 50 years ago, because of soil depletion, mineral depletion in the soils, and just the way that, produce is mass produced and shipped long distances. So all of those things were like rolling around in my mind. And when Leah reached out to me and shared about Juice Plus, I was like, this seems too good to be true. And so, yeah, I started taking it. Again, no expectations it would do anything for my health. And then fast forward a couple of, not even a full year, and my husband was no longer having trouble with his seasonal allergies. After, like Leah said, I have more energy now after having 4 babies than I did prior to having kiddos. My workouts are better. I am like stronger and feel better now, really 10 years. It's been not quite 10 years, but 10 years ago, I feel better now than I did 10 years ago, which not everybody can say. So thankful for that. I had some colleagues, some fellow physician assistants, and some docs I was working with who wanted to know like what I was taking for prenatals, what I was giving my kids. And I'd planned to refer them to Leah so that they could become customers. And that's when she had said, hey, would you consider joining me on this mission? And I thought to myself, like, I love this product. We're going to be on it for the foreseeable future, so I may as well sign up and get it for the best cost. And that was my only vision at the time, was really, I had a few people in mind. They wanted to get started, and that was 6 years ago. And what's, happened in the past 6 years is something, the more I've gotten to know this company and the mission and the vision behind what they do, is something that it's so much bigger than any one of us can do on our own. And while my desire was to help impact people for health, that wasn't happening in my job, to be honest. Like, I was writing people prescriptions for things and telling them to follow up with their doctors, knowing that unless they really change their lifestyle and change their diet, true healing was not going to happen. And this afforded me an opportunity to engage with people at a different level, to really walk alongside people and give them simple steps that they could take in their health journey. And it looks different for everybody. For some people, it's starting the product. Other people, it's free resources. Other people, it's joining our mission, because not only does this company provide something that's beneficial to people's health, but really an opportunity for people to grow their finances. And it certainly has been the case for us. I'm able to I'm mostly home now with my kids. I'm working way less than I was. And I'm able to contribute financially, and it's just a huge blessing. So I could keep going, but I'm going to stop. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to share this evening.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that journey. I think one thing that I really loved about hearing the stories tonight is just the different backgrounds that everybody is from, and how it's amazing the commonalities that we can find whenever we see a need to invest in our health and invest in prevention. And also when we see the value of, even just something as simple as fruits and vegetables and getting them in our bodies every day. Or the value in creating a second stream of income and what that can do for our families in the future. That really is something in today's world. Diversifying income and having other ways to earn income that actually fit in with a really busy schedule are things that people are needing more and more. And what better way to do that than to do it in a way that is incredibly noble, where you're making a difference in the lives of other people, and that every penny in your paycheck is a direct result of somebody else that is getting healthier and being, incredibly benefited, not just them, but their family as well. And so I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight and just listening, being open. And I would encourage you to reconnect with the person that invited you to listen in and take a step of education that is relevant for where you're at and maybe what you're wanting to learn a little bit more about. But thanks for being on, everybody. Have an awesome Monday night, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Leah. See you guys.